Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Carter. I love talking about movies, comic books, superheroes, and horror movies. And my local theater chain did do another secret screening. And tonight's secret screening, I walked in, I knew it was rated R. I was like, okay, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? It could be The Killer's Game with Dave Bautista. It could be Speak No Evil remake. Who knows? It's gonna be something that it's big enough to show in a smaller theater like mine. Walked in, sit down, and it ends up being My Old Ass, which is an indie drama film written and directed by Megan Park. Stars Maisy Stella and Aubrey Plaza. It's got cinematography by Kristen Carell. What did you guys think of My Old Ass? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did it work for you? Is it on your new coming of age favorites list, or is it not? Let me know and enjoy the rest of the video. Getting into the positives of My Old Ass, I think that the overall message and theme of the film about youth and embracing the joy of youth and embracing yourself is important. I think it's interesting, it's fun when it's played out right. It can be really engaging at times, and I think that the ending scene that really brings it all together, like the last 5 minutes, is actually done really, really well. I think that Maisy Stella's performance is actually pretty good. Aubrey Plaza has a really good scene at the end of the film as well, and I think that the production value is pretty decent for as like a small indie drama. I really love the setting of this cranberry farm. I love the setting of just this Canadian farm. I mean, I just repeated myself right there. I don't even care. I think it's really beautiful, shot amazingly well by Kristen Carell, so hats off to her. She did a great job. I think Megan Park as a director has a great eye for shots and just kind of planning how everything is going to play out. She does a good job of like getting the right performances out of certain actors and actresses. This film is very interesting because it focuses on Aubrey Plaza being from the future. She's her future self, and it doesn't really try to explain that. It's like, oh, she's high on shrooms, and it kind of bends the rules, bends the logic. She talks to Aubrey Plaza multiple times throughout the film, and I kind of liked how it didn't explain that. I mean, sometimes I'm someone who really harps on like, okay, how would that ever happen? I like that this film is just like, yeah, it happens. I mean, it's necessary for the story to happen, and it bugged me a little bit, I can't lie. Like, obviously it's gonna be in my mind, but I like that it's just like, yeah, it's happening, get over it. It's gonna happen, and the payoff for it, I think, actually satisfied the questions in my mind. Now, getting into the mix, sadly, Aubrey Plaza here, I didn't really find her all that convincing, all that charming. It kind of felt like she was like sleepwalking, doing her regular shtick throughout the first 2/3 of the film. And in the final third, her last couple scenes were actually really, really interesting and really unique. And I thought that her performance in the last scene she was in really sold the film for me. I mean, I didn't love the film. I hesitate to say I even really liked the film that much, but a lot of my positives do have to come from the performances and that final scene that I've talked about. I think that the impatience that I had, or the interest that I had throughout the film, kind of waned, and that final scene really made up for it. And going into the negatives, unfortunately, a lot of this movie didn't work for me. The tone I found to be, it's trying to be comedic, trying to be funny, and it didn't really get that many laughs out of me. I think I got maybe 1 or 2 the entire time, and the whole theater just really wasn't feeling it. You could feel the energy and the interest in the film really just drain as it went on, and it just kind of flopped joke after joke. A lot of this film's humor did not work for me whatsoever, and a lot of the dialogue just felt very cringe, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but it just feels like very, I'm gagging at this, and it's like, no one says gagging anymore, or it's like a lot of just very on the nose dialogue. There's a line of dialogue where it's like, I would wish you a happy birthday, but cis white men don't need any more happiness in their lives. And it's like, am I supposed to laugh? Is that supposed to make me cringe? Because it didn't make me do either. It just made me go like, okay. And she says it's a joke, and it's like her kind of like just messing around with her brother, but at the same time, it just kind of feels like that line of dialogue is indicative of every line of dialogue in the film. It's very on the nose, it's very point and shoot. There's really nothing that clever or unique about the dialogue, and I feel bad that I'm like really punching on this indie film so much, but when so much of the film relies on the relationship between the characters here, the relationship between Elliot and Chad and Elliot and older Elliot, and I just didn't feel or relate or even empathize with anything in this film whatsoever. I kind of just felt numb. And I was pretty generous in like Letterboxd. I give it like 2 stars. I'm not gonna give it that high of a rating in this. I think that, well, it did have some things going for it. The characters, the attempts at humor, the dialogue, and just pretty much everything except for that last 5 minutes really fell flat for me. I know I praised a lot of things. I was just trying to be, and I'm trying to be as nice as possible. It's not a terrible movie. It's just one that really didn't work for me. And walking out of the theater, it really didn't work for a lot of people. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of people that really love this film. I'm sure there's going to be a pretty big following for this movie. It's going to have really passionate defenders. I feel like it's a very specific group of people that will love and die for this film. Sadly, I just wasn't one of those people. It just wasn't right up my alley. I prefer other coming-of-age films much more to this one. However, if you're interested in a coming-of-age film that has a kind of unique twist and spin on it, I would recommend checking this one out. It does have an interesting spin, but I never want to be someone that's like, do not check out this movie. Unless it's something like Madam Web or like Rebel Moon Part 1. Overall, I'm going to give my old ass like a 3.5 to 4 out of 10. Again, it's not a terribly made movie. The production value, the cinematography is all really good. The lead performance by Maisy Stella, I keep on like second guessing her name, is good, but I just think the writing really lets this film down to where even the direction is just kind of haphazard because of the writing. And so again, I'm just gonna have to stick with that 3.5 to 4 rating out of 10. I could be totally in the minority here. Well guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for 600 subscribers. That's sick actually. That's super exciting, really cool. So close to 1,000. I'm hoping to hit that goal by 2025. It kind of feels weird that I've been doing this for 2 years now. But yeah, pretty cool. I just like turning the camera on and chatting, man. I'm such a chatter and such a yapper. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.